There's something about cottagecore that feels like a deep breath of fresh air. Romantic, nostalgic, and beautifully grounding. It's a style that whispers comfort while celebrating the charm of simpler living, with floral patterns, vintage accents, and natural textures guiding the way. If you've been craving a home that feels cozy, feminine, and timeless, then you're in the right place. Today, I'll walk you through elegant ways to bring the cottagecore look into your home. From styling intimate corners to adding budget-friendly thrifted finds. So grab a warm cup of coffee, sink into your favorite chair, and watch until the end to see how it all comes together. Soft florals everywhere. Cottagecore begins with florals, not just in vases, but layered throughout your home in subtle, thoughtful ways. Think delicate wallpapers, soft pillow covers, or even framed botanical prints that add a feminine, timeless touch. Fresh flowers are beautiful, but don't overlook dried bouquets. They bring warmth and last much longer, while still keeping that soft countryside romance alive. If you're hesitant about too much pattern, start with small accents. A floral teacup, a dainty lampshade, or a single quilt with blossoms stitched into the fabric. For color palettes, lean into soft pastels and earthy tones. Roses, creams, and sage greens create harmony without overwhelming your space. You can also mix dried and fresh flowers together. A vase of dried lavender paired with fresh roses creates both longevity and softness, reminding us that cottagecore embraces imperfection and the passage of time. Layer florals with plain textures to avoid visual clutter. A linen sofa draped with a single floral throw can strike the perfect balance between cozy and chic. Don't forget the details. Floral engraved frames, vintage books with pressed flowers inside, or a hand-painted vase, all adding a personal story to your space. Ultimately, florals in cottagecore aren't about bold statements. They're about whispering romance into everyday living. And if florals whisper, then vintage pieces sing. Let's talk about them next. Vintage treasures. Nothing defines cottagecore quite like the timeless beauty of vintage. These pieces bring history and soul into a room, making it feel alive with character. You don't need to splurge on antiques. Thrift stores, flea markets, and even your grandmother's attic can be treasure troves for the right finds. Focus on small touches. An old clock, a carved wooden box, or a brass candlestick can transform a shelf or table into a story-filled display. Distressed furniture is a staple. Chippy paint, worn handles, and imperfect finishes create that lived-in charm that makes cottagecore feel so authentic. Think beyond furniture. Vintage linens, lace doilies, or embroidered pillowcases can instantly evoke that nostalgic charm without overwhelming your space. Smaller finds often bring the most authentic touches. Mixing eras is perfectly acceptable. Pair a vintage mirror with modern lighting, or an antique dresser topped with a fresh bouquet. If you're new to vintage shopping, stick to neutral tones and natural woods. These pieces blend seamlessly with almost any decor style. Remember, vintage doesn't just decorate, it anchors the room with nostalgia. And once you've found your treasures, it's time to layer them with textures that feel warm and inviting. Natural textures. Cottagecore thrives on earthy materials. Linen, cotton, rattan, and wood bring a sense of grounded authenticity. Instead of polished finishes, go for raw and organic ones. Untreated woods, hand-woven baskets, and soft stone-washed fabrics. Wicker and rattan add texture without heaviness. A basket under a console table or a rattan chair in the corner instantly softens the space. Linen curtains flowing gently in the breeze evoke the simplicity of country living. Airy, timeless, and elegant. Layering fabrics is key. Think knitted throws over a linen sofa, or a quilt folded at the edge of your bed. If you live in a modern apartment, natural textured accessories like a rattan tray or a clay planter can balance sleek finishes with warmth. creating a subtle cottagecore nod without major changes. Even small accents, like a burlap placemat or ceramic pitcher, help to tie the natural story together. These textures remind us that imperfection is beauty in itself, and nothing pairs better with texture than the art of creating cozy corners. Cozy corners. Every home deserves at least one corner that feels like a personal retreat, and Cottagecore makes it easy to create. Start with soft seating, a vintage chair, or even a cushioned bench tucked under a window. Add layers of blankets, throws, and cushions in muted florals or soft neutrals. This is your invitation to linger. Layering textiles also helps absorb sound, softening the acoustics of a space and making it feel more cocoon-like, perfect for those quiet evenings with a book or journal. Lighting sets the mood. Candles, fairy lights, or a small lamp with a fabric shade will cast a warm, inviting glow. Include personal touches like books, journals, or even knitting baskets. It's these details that make the space truly yours. To deepen the charm, consider adding a small side table draped with lace or linen, topped with a teacup, candle, or vase of fresh-cut flowers. A woven rug underfoot adds warmth and grounds the nook, while a soft quilt folded nearby offers comfort within reach. The goal is to create a corner that feels less styled and more lived in, a gentle refuge that welcomes you back every time. Plants also belong here, whether it's a hanging fern or a small pot of lavender on the side table. Cozy corners aren't meant to be perfect. They're meant to hold you, just as you are. Alright, if corners are for rest, then your walls are for stories. Let's explore how art plays a role. Whimsical wall art. For Cottagecore, wall art is not about grandeur, but intimacy. Pieces that remind you of nature, love, and nostalgia. Botanical prints, pressed flowers, and delicate sketches create a gallery wall that feels personal yet cohesive. Embroidery hoops with handmade designs or quotes can bring a soft handmade spirit to your walls. Don't underestimate mirrors, especially ornate or vintage ones. They reflect light and expand small spaces beautifully. Create vignettes with shelves, stack vintage books, display ceramic pictures, and frame small art pieces together. Even the frames themselves can become part of the story. Swap out standard frames for ones with chipped paint, carved wood, or gilded edges you might find at a thrift shop. A mix of finishes keeps the display from feeling too perfect, leaning instead into that timeless layered cottagecore charm, where every detail looks collected over the years. For a romantic touch, hang soft tapestries with natural motifs or floral patterns. The goal is storytelling. Each piece should reflect a little part of you. Now, speaking of storytelling, let's talk about how DIY touches make this style even more special. DIY and handmade. At the heart of Cottagecore is creativity, and nothing feels more authentic than incorporating handmade pieces. Knitting, crocheting, or sewing small details, like cushion covers or blankets, infuse your home with personal warmth. Simple DIYs, such as painting terracotta pots, distressing a wooden frame, or pressing flowers into glass frames, are easy and affordable. Handmade pottery, even imperfect, brings soul to your kitchen or dining table. If crafting isn't your strength, start small with painted jars or thrift flips. Even beginner DIY projects, like hand-painted flower pots or simple knitted throws, add a sense of intimacy. Imperfection here is not a flaw, but part of the story Cottagecore celebrates. Here's a question for you. What's one DIY or handmade touch you'd love to try for your home? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas. Alright, handmade is never about perfection, it's about meaning. And once you've added handmade beauty, soft lighting ties everything together. Soft, warm lighting. Harsh lighting breaks the spell of Cottagecore. Instead, aim for soft, layered illumination. Lamps with fabric shades cast a warm glow. making evenings feel romantic and gentle. Fairy lights draped across a headboard or along shelves create a dreamy atmosphere. Candles, real or flameless, offer both light and ambiance, especially when clustered in vintage holders. Lanterns and sconces can bring an old-world touch to hallways or outdoor spaces. Keep bulbs warm-toned. Soft yellows enhance textures and colors beautifully. For a practical tip, try mixing lighting heights, floor lamps, tabletop candles, and string lights overhead, so the glow feels organic and layered, much like sunlight filtering through trees. Don't forget the charm of natural light during the day. Sheer curtains let sunshine pour in softly, diffusing it into a golden haze that makes even the simplest room feel poetic. Pair that with strategically placed mirrors to bounce daylight around, and you'll have a space that glows from sunrise to sunset without much effort. Lighting in Cottagecore isn't just practical, it's emotional. Now that your home is glowing, it's time to set the stage with layered tablescapes. Layered tablescapes. The dining table is the heart of many homes, and in Cottagecore, it becomes a stage for warmth and connection. Start with a simple linen tablecloth or runner, preferably in muted neutrals. Layer mismatched dishes, vintage glassware, and dainty utensils for a collected look. Small functional details can also elevate a tablescape. Think linen napkins tied with twine, vintage flatware, or even handwritten place cards. These quiet touches turn an everyday table into something special without feeling staged. A cluster of wildflowers in a ceramic pitcher creates a casual but elegant centerpiece. Candles tucked between serving bowls bring an evening glow. Don't worry about perfection. Let plates be mismatched and glasses be a little uneven. Here's a question for you. When styling a table, do you lean toward minimal elegance or rich layering? This is about savoring the moment, not staging it. And while your tablescape delights guests, your shelves can hold stories of their own. Charming shelf styling. Open shelves are perfect for displaying cottagecore charm. Mix practicality and beauty. Stack plates, cups, and bowls alongside vintage decor. Add personality with potted herbs, old cookbooks, and woven baskets. Balance heights, taller vases at the ends, smaller items grouped in clusters. Rotate pieces seasonally for freshness, spring florals, autumn pumpkins, or winter greenery. Shelves also become more inviting when you vary heights and depths. Try leaning a framed print behind smaller objects or stacking a few books horizontally to break up vertical lines. It gives the arrangement a collected, effortless charm. Soft textures can also add depth to your shelves. A folded linen tea towel draped over the edge of a basket, or a bit of lace peeking out from under stacked dishes, instantly adds warmth and romance. These subtle fabric layers soften the harder edges of wood and ceramic, creating that lodged, cozy cottagecore feel. Don't overfill. Leave space for the eye to rest. Styled shelves should feel casual, yet curated. And now, let's step outside, because cottagecore doesn't stop at your door. Connect with nature. Since cottagecore celebrates the natural world, a cozy balcony or modest garden is more than enough to bring it to life. And just like we began with soft florals indoors, you can echo that same romance outside. A small pot of wildflowers on a balcony table or a climbing rose on a trellis ties the spaces together seamlessly. It creates continuity, so whether you're sipping tea by the window or tending plants outside, the charm of cottagecore blossoms around you. These create that lush, enchanted atmosphere. Small birdhouses, lanterns, or even a hammock bring whimsy outdoors. Grow herbs in mason jars or window boxes for both function and beauty. Layer cozy textiles outside, plaid blankets on benches, or rattan chairs with cushions. Fresh air becomes part of your design. Open the windows and let nature flow indoors. If you don't have outdoor space, consider potted herbs on a sunny windowsill. They not only bring greenery inside, but also connect daily rituals, like cooking, to the natural rhythms of the season. At its heart, cottagecore is about living in harmony with nature, one detail at a time. And that's how you can style your home with cozy cottagecore touches. If you're ready for even more timeless decorating ideas, then watch this next video.